Hey y'all, it's Hans. Welcome back. So it's been a while since we've been face to face, been putting out a bunch of hog and coyote dropping videos lately. I'm here in the Hansi's, Texas studio, which if you watch the Late Night Vision Show podcast, you know, and you've seen this space a lot. This is where we record the podcast on a weekly basis. If you haven't seen the Late Night Vision Show podcast, that's something that Jason at Outdoor Legacy Gear and I do on a weekly basis. You can find that on YouTube, Spotify, not Instagram, but well, you can find it on Instagram. You can find some pictures, but you won't hear the podcast audio there. You can find it on iTunes and Google Play. So y'all can go check that out. We do that every week. We talk about scopes. We talk about everything. But if you're wanting to know and get the inside scoop on all the latest and breaking news on all thermal and night vision scopes, you need to go check that out. But we are here in the Hansi's, Texas studio again. I know it's been a while since you've seen it, but if you watch the podcast, you're very used to seeing it. So glad to be back with you. We're getting towards the end of 2019. It's in the middle of December right now. We're talking about our favorite thermal scopes on the podcast. We've done our best of categories, and I want to share with you my favorite thermal monocular. Now, there's been quite a few monoculars that have come out this year. We reviewed three brand new Pulsar Axion models that have come out this year, and there's actually a fourth one that just came out that we will be reviewing soon. That's the Pulsar Axion XM22. So stay tuned for that here on this channel. We actually just reviewed it on the Late Night Vision Show podcast. But I want to share with you my favorite thermal monocular because there's been a lot of people that ask what I use personally and what I prefer. And so just to kind of recap the Pulsar Helion line of thermal monoculars, there's actually four different Pulsar Helions. There's you have the Helion XQ38, which is a 3.1 base magnification thermal monocular unit. They all look very similar in look and design. The XQ38, now there's a bunch of numbers and letters here, so I know it's sometimes hard to follow, but the Helion XQ38 3.1 base mag, the price on that's $2,999, so basically $3,000. Then you have the Pulsar Helion XQ50, which is a base mag of 4.1 power. The price on that is $3,299. You have the Helion XP38, which is what we have here. This is a base magnification of 1.9 power. The price on it's $3,799. Now the difference between the XQ and the XP models are the XQ are the 384 thermal core resolution, thermal monoculars. The XP, just like the difference in the trail models between XQ and XP, the Helion XP is the 640 core. So this is the one that's got the highest resolution. So this is the XP38, base magnification of 1.9 power. The price on this is $3,799, so $3,800. And then the granddaddy of them all, the biggest one, the most expensive one, the Helion XP50, base magnification of 2.5 power, and the price on that's $3,999. Now, before you have a heart attack and think I could go out and buy a very nice thermal scope for that money, which is somewhat true, but also keep in mind too of what you're getting when you have a monocular that gives you as much power as these. So you're going to get the chance to see video. I'll be showing video as I talk, and so you can see what the image looks like out in the field. I'll run down the specs, give you a chance to really see around the scope and decide if this is something for you. There's a lot of choices out there. That's what's great with Pulsar. You have four different Axion models, which are the least or the lesser expensive between the two lines, the Axion and the Helion models. They're smaller, they're more compact, lighter weight. They're easier to maneuver and get around. But we've talked it on the podcast, the Late Night Vision Show, that the Axions are more convenient, but they don't have the quality of picture as a Helion. The Axions have very good pictures, but the Helions have much better image quality than their little brother, the Axions. So let's get started on the specs. This is the XP38. Like we said, the price is $3,799. Magnification starts at 1.9, goes up to 15.2 power. It's a 684 by 480 thermal core resolution. It's 17 microns, which the new Axions, and I don't want to confuse you, but the new Axion models are 12 microns, and the 320 core. So it's the brand new 320 12 micron cores that they came out with. These are the same, this is the same ULIS 640 core, 17 microns. It says the detection range is around 1,500 yards. I think it's much further than that. It does have built-in video recorder as well, and it does record audio. Rechargeable battery pack. As if you're familiar with the Trail Pulsar Trail scopes, it's the same battery. They're interchangeable, and that's one of the advantages of having something like this. As far as runtime on the batteries, depending on very cold weather, very warm weather, I think the high end of the scale, as far as time, you're going to get about 8 hours of runtime. If it's really, really cold outside, you might get a little bit less than that, but on average, about 8 hours or so. And then it does have multiple color palettes, not just the standard white hot and black hot, which I don't use any other color palettes except white hot and black hot, depending on the weather conditions outside. So let's take a look around the scope. It's got the flip open cap lid on it. Very standard for what you see with the Pulsar line. It's got the buttons on the top. If you are familiar with the Pulsar Trail rifle scopes, maneuvering through this Monocular is going to be a breeze because basically the buttons are almost identical as far as what they do in the setup. It does have a pretty convenient, because as you know, when you're doing this stuff on YouTube, you're recording videos, recording hunts. You want to be able to mount this Monocular on a tripod or something. It does have a little screw place down here to screw into a tripod. So if you want to set it up behind you and video and stabilize this unit while you're videoing, or if you're stalking out in the field, you can actually mount this on a tripod. Obviously, it's got a hand strap, which keeps you from dropping it out of the truck or the mule while you're driving around looking for hogs or coyotes. And I think if you're many of you have seen these. Probably you have a buddy that has a Helion or some type of thermal monocular, very similar to the Trail. So I think as far as the setup and design, very easy to maneuver through. I don't think you'll have any issues with it being overly complicated, like I said. And the good thing about the Pulsar units is a lot of people call in and say, I'm interested in something, a thermal scope or a thermal monocular, and I don't know anything about technology. I get overwhelmed by even the use sometimes of cell phones. The Pulsar scopes are about as least complicated, I think, as you can get in the thermal market. I've used them all. And I'm fortunate enough that I get to test all the thermals out there. And, Pulsar does a good job of trying to keep it as simple as possible. It is a digital unit, so there is some functions in there that you go in and set up, like the time and the date and different things like that. But I don't think it's very overwhelming if you're talking about technically challenging. So those are the specs. You got a walk around of the unit itself. It's not very heavy, but if you're going to compare it to the Pulsar Axion, it's going to be a little bit heavier than that. So not as heavy as your rifle scope, not as lightweight as the Pulsar Axion, but with the Axion lines, you definitely get the better quality picture, the better image. So my experience, is this a good buy? Is it something that's worth the money? That's really something. And when you call into Outdoor Legacy Gear and you're asking these scopes, these questions to Jason, or if I get a chance to talk to you about a rifle scope or a monocular, the question is this worth the money? Is this worth $3,800? Which, let's face it, that's not a little amount of money. That's a significant amount of money. Is it worth it? First things you need to, we all have to be honest with ourselves before we make a purchase. Is this within my budget? Is this something that I'm going to be able to purchase and not stress myself out financially? So if this is out of your budget, there are many different choices in lower prices that have very good uses and can do exactly what you need to do. If this is well within your budget and it fits your application and your hunting style, then I think it is a good buy. So the reason why I like the Pulsar XP38 over all the other Helions, and I've used all of them. I do, obviously, the 640 resolution core. It is a beautiful image. The XQ models, which are the 384 core, are very good as well. But that 640 core, and to give you an example, I was using it last night. I hunt 6 nights a week, and my wife, God bless her, she doesn't get to see me very much during the week. But I was out testing this thing last night, and it was very foggy. This 640 core was cutting right through the fog very well. And I just with that beautiful image in the detection range, and we'll get to the detection range very soon. It really helps you out in the field identify, be able to see more hogs, coyotes, whatever you're hunting, and ultimately have a more fun experience. So the image quality is bar none one of the best in the thermal monoculars that you can get. The base magnification. So a lot of people ask, what's your favorite base magnification? I prefer lower base magnification as opposed to higher, especially in a thermal monocular. This is a 1.9 power. The step up from this is a 2.5, which isn't a lot of difference in magnification. But for me, even in my rifle scope, my Pulsar Helion, my Pulsar Thermion, I like to be around 2 power. And for me, when I'm using this monocular, riding around in a truck, riding around in a mule, having lower base magnification doesn't make me dizzy or make me sick when I'm riding around. It's got a very wide field of view, so I can see a long way and very spread out and wide area. So that's to me the perfect magnification level around that 2 power. Obviously, it does. The magnification goes up to about 15.2 power. So it's more than I'll ever need. It also has picture-in-picture display. So that is a helpful tool, and I use it a lot when I'm out using my Thermion rifle scope. I use the picture-in-picture when I take shots a lot. Detection range. So this is saying it's about a 1,500 yard detection range. I think it's much further than that. Again, using an example last night, I was out and we were in a very hilly area where you could see one hill over to the next hill, which, there could be 6 yards up to 1,000 yards of distance in between each hill. And I was IDing deer at 800 yards with this thing, and very, very easily, not having to magnify up to the maximum level. So, I think the detection range is much further than 1,500 yards, and the ID range, which they don't officially, I think, list on their information. I think it's probably, safe, 600, 800 yards, depending on how much you hunt and how good you are at identifying animals and looking at different keys that help you distinguish which is a deer and which is a coyote, what's a hog and what's a armadillo, if you get mixed up between those two. But I think this is a great buy at $3,800. Again, if it's within your price range, if it's within your hunting applications. But as always, if you have any questions, I usually talk about the negatives in this thing. I chose this because it doesn't have any negatives to me. There might be other people out there that don't like certain features or functions. It's a thermal monocular. You turn it on, you look through it. It's got a great picture. It records video and audio. So in my opinion, what else do you want? Could it be lighter? Well, it'd be nice if it was lighter or if it was smaller, but to fit that much power into a small package, I'm sure is very difficult. So it works fine for me. I slip it in my pants pocket or coat pocket or something, and I have no issue. So if you're interested in purchasing any of the Helions, any of the Axions, any thermal monoculars, if you just want to talk about it and work it through and to see if it fits within your application, give Jason a call at 877-350-1818. You can find all of the thermal monocular models on the Outdoor Legacy Gear website. Please tune in soon to the Late Night Vision Show podcast. We're going to be talking about this week. It's going to be episode 84. The question between should I get a thermal monocular or just spend the money and get a backup scope that I can use as a thermal monocular and then use it as a buddy scope if somebody wants to come over and hunt with me. So that's a great question. We're going to be talking about it on the Late Night Vision Show podcast. You can check that out. You can find me on Instagram. Obviously, you found me here on YouTube. Please subscribe. I really appreciate the people that watch and tune in to this channel, also the Late Night Vision Show podcast. We appreciate all the feedback we get, all the comments. We enjoy doing the hunts, putting the hunts out on a weekly basis. We're getting down to the end of the year. So probably the next video that's going to come out, next 2 videos, is going to be the best hog drops of 2019 and the best coyote drops of 2019. So I got a lot of work, a lot of videos to edit, to put into that package. But that'll be out by the end of the year. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great week. We'll see you soon. Stay safe in the fields. Keep making them bacon pancakes.
Thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, you can do so by just clicking on the Hansi's Texas logo right below me. Also, the Late Night Vision Show podcast. To subscribe to that YouTube channel, just hit this logo right here to the left. And to watch related videos, you can hit right down there in the corner. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, sharing, liking, and keep making them bacon pancakes.